Die Rheinmetall or die Rheinische Metallwaren- und Maschinenfabrik Aktiengesellschaft was founded in April of 1889 to produce ammunition for the German Empire. The Thuringian engineer and inventor Heinrich Erhard oversaw the construction of the Rheinmetall plant in Düsseldorf and managed it until 1920. He also made many of his inventions available to the company and thus contributed significantly to the technical development of many Rheinmetall products. The newly founded factory began production in Düsseldorf-Derendorf in December of 1889. The company expanded very quickly in the following years, mainly due to government orders. On the initiative of the previously mentioned Heinrich Erhard, Rheinmetall took over the bankrupt Sömmerda Munitions and Waffenfabrik AG in 1901, thus expanding the product range. At the beginning of the First World War, Rheinmetall was one of the largest armaments manufacturers in the German Empire and employed almost 8,000 workers. By the end of the war, this workforce had increased to almost 48,000 workers and employees, including around 10,000 women. The build-up area at the main plant quadrupled during this time. After the war, the armaments production came to a standstill and Rheinmetall had to lay off many of its employees. The provisions of the Treaty of Versailles made it necessary to switch to civilian products. Rheinmetall therefore produced locomotives, railway carriages, and agricultural machinery. It is a little-known fact that in September of 1930, Rheinmetall signed a contract to establish a design bureau with 20 German engineers to work for the Soviet Union. This contract ended in 1933 when Hitler came to power. In April of 1933, Rheinmetall bought the locomotive manufacturer Borsig, which was also about to be liquidated, and thus came into possession of a large factory near Berlin. This led to the company being renamed Rheinmetall-Borsig AG in 1936. This merger with Borsig nearly doubled the number of Rheinmetall employees by 1937. As part of the rearmament of the German army, the company increasingly developed and produced weapons and ammunition. The products range from machine guns and cannons, anti-tank guns and field guns, to anti-aircraft guns and even railway guns. During the Second World War, armaments production was increased to the maximum, and the development of new weapon systems was also demanded. State influence and the integration of Rheinmetall-Borsig into the state-owned company Reichswerke Hermann Göring increased to such an extent that the company came under complete state control and was integrated into the planned war preparations. During the war, the number of the employees grew to up to 85,000. Albert Speer was a former architect who served as the Minister of Armaments and War Production in Germany from February of 1942. He succeeded Fritz Todt, who was killed near Rastenburg when his aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff. As early as March of 1942, Albert Speer was to witness for himself how a shortage of skilled labor was already contributing to the German industry's inability to respond to demands for increased productivity. On a late afternoon visit to the Rheinmetall-Borsig armaments work, he found that the workshops with their sophisticated machine tools were standing idle, as there was not enough skilled workers to man the second shift. This is why, during the Second World War, numerous forced laborers worked in the Rheinmetall factories. In the Düsseldorf plant alone, around 5,000 foreign forced laborers and prisoners of war were liberated at the end of the war. In the last 2 years of the war, the production facilities were severely damaged by Allied air raids. The most severe attack occurred on the 12th of June 1943, when a firestorm was ignited through targeted bombing by the Royal Air Force, largely destroying the historical city center, downtown, and the industrial neighborhoods. After this heavy air raid on the factories, numerous production areas were relocated to present-day Poland. By the end of the war, most of the Rheinmetall-Borsig plants had been destroyed. The plants in Düsseldorf and West Berlin came under the control of the Western Allies. All properties in the territories occupied by the Red Army were expropriated. Some factories were completely dismantled by the victorious powers. The Düsseldorf plant wasn't fully destroyed after the Second World War. Nevertheless, almost the entire workforce was made redundant in the summer of 1945. A small number of employees and workers apparently remained in service, carrying out clean-up work and very small-scale civilian production. A few years ago, in 2022, Rheinmetall announced increased production of ammunition in Germany in connection with the war in the Ukraine and a Swiss veto on ammunition deliveries. In June of 2022, Rheinmetall presented its latest Kf-51 Panther main battle tank. In November, the company announced the purchase of a Spanish ammunition manufacturer, which was completed in August of 2023 for 1.2 billion euros. Rheinmetall expects an increase in demand for ammunition following the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Also in September of 2023, it was announced that Hungary would be the first country to complete development of its version of the Kf-51 tank and subsequently produce it in the country. In December, it was announced that the company planned to produce the Lynx infantry fighting vehicle and the Fuchs armored personnel carrier in Ukraine. Rheinmetall intends to have the first units came off the production line sometimes within 2024. In addition, 200,000 artillery shells are to be manufactured at the new plant from 2025. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and to make sure you don't miss my future work, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you, and see you in the next video.